Chapter 1, 10 years ago. The auditorium lights were too bright, too artificial, and far too warm. Eric Mallory sat stiffly in his chair, fingertips pressed together as he listened to the moderator introduce the debate. He had done this 100 times before: public debates, live discussions, guest lectures, dismantling superstition with nothing but cold, ruthless logic. This was just another night. Across from him sat Dr. Lawrence Whitmore, a distinguished theologian in his 60s, silver-haired and composed. The man looked like a grandfather, which was exactly why people trusted him. Faith always needed a father figure to cling to. The moderator finished his introduction for those who were new to the broadcast. The cameras were live. Eric leaned forward. Faith is an illusion, a story people tell themselves to justify the unknown. Whitmore's expression didn't change. Then explain love, hope. Why do we look for meaning? Eric smirked, adjusting his earpiece. His assistant, Ramses, was feeding him real-time data and references, though he hardly needed them. He had this argument down to an art. Cognitive pattern recognition, he said smoothly. Humans are wired to find patterns in chaos. We see faces in burnt toast, divine intervention in random events. Your God is nothing more than another illusion. Whitmore tilted his head slightly. And yet, you just called him your God. Eric blinked. A small, almost imperceptible mistake, but the theologian had caught it. Whitmore continued. You say faith is a construct, but tell me, Dr. Mallory, do you measure justice? Do you quantify beauty? Would you call those illusions too? A murmur spread through the audience. Eric clenched his jaw. This was a trap, appeal to emotion. He had seen it before. Justice and beauty are concepts we define through reason, he countered. They exist because we create them. But faith is a refusal to accept reality as it is. Whitmore gave a small, almost pitying smile. Then, by your own reasoning, consciousness itself should not exist. Can you measure that, Dr. Mallory? Silence. For the first time that night, Eric felt something slip, an edge, a moment of control. The moderator cut in. Gentlemen, we're out of time. Let's thank our speakers. Polite applause followed, but Eric barely heard it. His hands curled into fists under the table. He stood abruptly, ripping the earpiece from his ear as he strode off the stage. The debate had been a disaster. No, not a disaster, but a loss. A loss because he had allowed himself to be dragged into Whitmore's framing. It was a mistake he wouldn't make again. He pushed past reporters and interns, ignoring questions as he made his way backstage. The lights were dimmer here, and the hum of the studio faded behind him. He exhaled sharply, reaching into his pocket for his phone. He needed to check the reaction online, to remind himself that logic still won in the long run. Dr. Mallory. The voice was low and confident. Eric turned. A man in a dark suit stood in the shadows near the exit, hands clasped in front of him. He wasn't alone. Two others flanked him, one older with thinning hair, the other younger, wiry and sharp-eyed. Eric frowned. Do I know you? The man stepped forward, offering a hand. Paul Clifford, we've been following your work. Eric didn't shake it. Following it? Paul smiled unfazed. You speak truth in a world that still clings to ancient myths. We admire that. We want to take it further. Something about the man's tone made Eric hesitate. And who is we exactly? Paul gestured to the others. We're part of an organization dedicated to ensuring that reason, not superstition, guides human progress. Eric studied them carefully. He had encountered plenty of atheist groups before, secular societies, humanist organizations, but something about these men felt different. Paul leaned in slightly. How would you like to make sure faith never takes hold at all? Eric's pulse quickened. The older man beside Paul spoke for the first time. We don't want to debate religion, Dr. Mallory. We want to erase it. Eric looked from one face to another. He should have laughed, called them lunatics, walked away. Instead, he asked, tell me more.